Guys, welcome back to my channel. Hi, my name is Bunmi. If you're new here, welcome. So today we're doing a continuation of the psychology of colors in design, fashion, architecture and film. Right now we're going to be touching on primary colors, the emotions that it evokes when used in different ways, and the color combination that would express different personalities. We're starting with red. Red is a primary color, and that's the reason why I'm wearing this red outfit right now. I'm very careful on the usage of colors depending on the aspect of my life. I have my active lifestyle, which is like, exercise lifestyle, where I tend to go for more reds and pinks. Pumps my energy up. It makes me a lot more driven, a lot more passionate to get to my target goal. Too much red is too far away, and part of the primary colors is the red color. And the red color, the core meaning of the red color, what it communicates across psychologically, is dominance, is urgencies, is passion, is appetite, is sensuality, it's confidence, it's danger, it's vitality, it's authority, and also the blood of Jesus Christ. That is the blood of Jesus Christ. It's red. That's what it reminds me of as a Christian as well. And the red feeling changes based on the undertone. It changes based on the fabrics, the silhouette, the structure, the styling, the contrast, the surrounding colors basically that it interacts with. And now we want to do the combination of what it means when you combine red and black, especially when it comes to outfits, when it comes to fashion. Red and black together is power, seduction and control. The emotional effect of it is intensity, dominance, mystery, authority, seduction. The black grounds the red psychologically, and without the black, the bright red can be overwhelming, visibly loud. When you look at a lot of luxury houses, they tend to use black and red. When it comes to like structured tailoring for clothes, red looks really good in coats. It looks really good in sportwears because it's just like active energy, vibrancy. It just feels so like activated when, for me at least anyways, when I'm in my red outfit. It looks good with like clean seams, matte fabrics, minimal accessories, because when it comes to red you don't need too much. The red is already doing the talking for you, so you just need to calm down the accessories when you're wearing red. And when you wear black and red, it communicates discipline, status, intentionality. We have red and cream. Red and cream evokes soft luxury, femininity as well as warmth. It just shows a bit of like romance, its refinement, its elegance, its softness. And then the cream kind of makes you feel a lot more calmer, and it makes it a lot more elevated, and it just screams like, approach me, I'm not too dangerous, I'm just very passionate, I'm fun, I'm exciting, but hey, I'm also very calm at the same time, so you don't have to worry about me being crazy. I feel like red looks so good in silk, especially when you have like a silk red dress on. It looks so good in cashmere as well. When it's done well, when it's like the right shade of red, it looks so good. It shows confidence without effort. It shows femininity without the performance of it. It's just very cute and girly. As a pop of color, it looks really good as a pop of color actually. And depending on where you put the pop of color in, whether it is through your heels, it shows that you're walking powerfully, or whether it is through the coat. And then you have like red and pinks. So red and pinks is very out of the blue. It's very, they're both eye grabbing, right? They're very fashion forward. They're very much in your face. But it's also screaming like girly, like modern femininity. And it screams like playfulness, like being expressive. It screams like being artistic, emotionally vibrant. And it's used in editorial forms. It's used in contemporary ways. It's used during Valentine's Day. Warm reds and warm pinks feels harmonious. Cool reds and dusty pinks feel sophisticated. When it comes to red, honestly, it depends on the tone, the structure of the dress itself, the outfit itself. It can go really bad when it's done really badly. It doesn't exude what you think it exudes when it's like in the wrong fabric or in the wrong shape or in the wrong cut, because red in itself is very daring, and so you have to find a delicate way to show that daringness of it. I would say when it comes to structured garment with red, it communicates authority, discipline, power. When it comes to flowy garments, it communicates softness, femininity, and ease. When it comes to matte, it shows wealth, restraint, and quiet luxury. When it comes to shine, it shows attention, sensuality, and performance. When it comes to tightness, it's intensity, sexuality, it's tension. When it comes to relaxed silhouettes, it's confidence, comfort, status. And when it comes to high contrast, it's drama, stimulation. When it comes to low contrast, it's calm, sophistication. When you pair burgundy with brown colors, right, the shades of browns, it communicates across like old money, warmth, maturity. I think you see this a lot when it comes to interior design actually than you do when it comes to outfits. When you see it in outfits, it gives like heritage vibes, it gives like craftsmanship, it gives stability. If you combine burgundy with like butter yellow, it communicates across as intellectual softness, and it's very artistic. It's something that is thoughtful, it's something that is elegant and very understated. I have red with powder blue. I think this is such a cute combination. Now we're jumping into the blue in fashion. Blue again communicates across as trust, calmness, intelligence, emotional stability. It's reliable. It gives serenity, like it's serene when you're around blueness, like the ocean, or you see the clear blue sky, you just breathe a fresh of breath air. You're like, oh, finally. It screams emotional depth and it screams professionality. And when it comes to light blues, it screams like gentleness, freshness, openness, femininity, easiness. The navy blue, it communicates authority without the aggression of the red. I feel it's intelligent, it's dependable, it's refined. Unlike red and blacks, navy feels more much less harsher emotionally. It's quite refined. When you have blue and white, it's fresh luxury, it's cleanliness, it's coastal, it's elegance, it's sophistication, it's timelessness, and it's breathable rather than dramatic. The white reflects the light and the blue calms the nervous system down. So you just kind of have like this serene sense of self and peacefulness to you. And then you have the blue and the brown. This color combination is what you see in academia. It's what you see for mature people. It's very artistic. A lot of artists love to wear this. It's very cool and chic. Is something you wear during winter time as well, depending on the shades of blue. We're on to yellow. Yellow in fashion. I love yellow. I've been loving yellow recently, and that's because it shows optimism, energy, warmth, and visibility. And it's like joy, it's creative, it's attention. Like you just like, oh, look at that cute, like cute girly girl. Like you just feel so happy when you're around yellows. Like you just feel so like approachable when you're wearing yellow. You just feel so feminine and so light and so joyful when you're wearing yellow. It depends on the saturation or the hue of the yellow, can bring certain sensitivities out. Bright yellow can be very overwhelming quite quickly despite, so you need some softer yellows to feel elevated, to feel a lot more like serene and calm. But also when it comes to the texture of yellows, it depends on your undertone. Yellow is such a good balanced color. It doesn't do too much, but yet it still gets the attention, it still brings the warmth and the joy, and it's still quite commanding. I've been talking about butter yellow, which is just muted yellow, I would say, and it's like quiet femininity, it's elegance. Butter yellow evokes like tenderness, sophistication. Unlike neo yellow, butter yellow doesn't scream for attention. I have a yellow dress in my wardrobe that I wore in silk. Oh, it's so divine, it's so darling. I can't wait to wear that yellow dress, honestly. The way it drapes and the way it just makes my body feel, oh, just so beautiful. The golden yellow is luxury, is richness, and it's regal. It's very intellectual, The tones resemble like the sunlight, gold, aged paper, autumn leaves, and it's just so beautiful. Then you have yellow and grey, modern optimism. Yellow alone can be hyperactive, whereas the grey introduce some calmness to it. And together it makes it like balanced, modern, urban, stylish. And then you have the yellow and the burgundy. This combination feels very cultured, refined, vintage, cinematic. It's one of both colors that creates harmony. Muted yellow softens the burgundy heaviness, and then at the end you have the primary colors together. This is where it gets interesting when it comes to fashion, because it's very youthful, it's very artistic, and it's very energetic. When you use it together, you see it a lot when it comes to childhoodness. It's very childish. Playful, is creative. It's just very pretty but very loud. Why some primary colors will look cheap when it comes to fashion, it would be the saturation is too harsh, the fabrics are synthetic or shiny, the silhouettes are overtly tight, too many focal points competing for your attention, the accessories overwhelms the outfit. You don't want your brain to go into overload of visuals. And then the reason why some of them look quite expensive is because they are muted undertones, tonal layering, visual breathing room, controlled styling, quality textures, and it's very intentional, it's very composed, and it's very refined. Now we're going to primary colors in film. And in film, it shows desire, danger, obsession, sacrifice, and transformation. A lot of directors like to use this to interrupt our nervous system. They want our eyes to capture the red first, because then they want us to immediately have a feeling of danger. It can bring some emotional emphasis, foreshadowing of a lot of things, tension, seduction, violence in a lot of violent movie. Kill Bill was one of them. Kill Bill used a lot of red and yellows, if I'm not mistaken. And then you have red and black in films, and it shows power, corruption, and seduction. And it's psychological thrillers. It's used in psychological thrillers. I used to love psychological thrillers, but now you have to be careful what you watch and intake that, so that it doesn't affect your mindset. It's used in a lot of crime dramas, it's used in gothic cinema, it's used in noir films, and black creates like uncertainty and mystery, and red injects danger and emotional intensity, and together psychologically they create dominance, fear, erotic tension, and control. Cinematic for it could be invasive, predatory, or emotionally charged. You experience anticipation a lot more quicker. And you have red and white. So red and white in combination is innocent interrupted, emptiness, and the red disrupts the purity, unfortunately, when it comes to the movies. When the red is on white, it makes it shocking, emotional, tragic, vulnerable. It's like, oh no. A lot of filmmakers tend to use it as emotional turning points. They tend to use it as romance or sacrificial scenes or danger. And then you have the red and the blue, and often this is used in sci-fi. When you watch a lot of sci-fis, I love sci-fi. When you watch a lot of like psychological thrillers or romantic thrillers as well, or psychological dramas, they tend to use like red and blues in a lot of it, and it's about instincts, it's about chaos, it's logic. The blue represents the logic side of things, detachment, calmness, isolation. You have the blue in film. The blue is isolation, it's intelligence, melancholy, it's spirituality. It creates like contemplation, loneliness, calmness, emotional distance, introspection. Then you have the dark blue and navy. A lot of detectives love to use dark blues. Oh my god, Sherlock Holmes. A lot of like political dramas. I love political dramas. and prestigious like televisions. And then dark blue is restrained. You're guarding yourself emotionally, basically. Blue and orange shows human warmth and versus environmental coldness. It's one of the most used palettes in Hollywood. The blue environment creates emotional coolness. The orange skin tones preserves human like warmth. The contrast keeps character emotionally alive within cold environments. That's why a lot of action movies and blockbusters use it a lot. You have yellow, it shows openness, hope, it shows madness, memory, unease. So it's very different from fashion that shows warmth and joy. In general, this just shows madness and memories and like uneasiness. And to be honest, it depends on the tone. It can be joyful. However, movies don't tend to use yellows. They tend to use it for anxiousness, to create bring across some sense of anxiousness, psychological discomfort, and as well as decay, which is quite interesting. And then you have golden yellow. Golden yellow is used for memory and nostalgia. It's used for sunlight, the candlelight, aged photographies. Audience associated, we associate it with like memories, longing, childhood, romance in a lot of movies. And then you have sickly yellow and green, and it's very psychologically discomforting. Dirty yellow feels toxic, it feels claustrophobic, diseased, mentally unstable. A lot of filmmakers love to use it in horror movies, dystopian films, psychological thrillers. And then the primary colors in films is hyper-real, like emotionally exaggerated. Some films feel expensive because of the color hierarchy, the lighting consistency, tonal harmony, costume palette, environment palette. And some films, when they use the primary colors, tend to look cheap because it's uncontrolled, saturation, color grading, inconsistency in that, conflicting wardrobe palettes, and excessive visual stimulation. We have red in interior design. It's warmer, is more intimate, is stimulating, is emotionally active. And in general, when you see people with red bedrooms or red rooms, or the usage of red in their interior design, its energy, its intimacy, its appetite, its drama. You see it in luxury hospitality a lot. You see it in dramatic interiors as well. It's some sort of like urgency, and its excitement, its movement, its passion, its sociability. Too much brightness of red can be overwhelming and aggressive and mentally exhausting. So you need some sort of like restraint and balance and texture and negative space when it comes to the usage of red. So that's when you have burgundy and wood. And then you have it in the sense of the usage in libraries, in vintage hotels, heritage homes. And then you have the red and the cream. It's like soft drama. I think it goes well when the walls are white or cream. The colors of red on pillows and flowers as accents, rather than just like the red wall and then you're using like cream. But it depends, again, it depends on the paneling, it depends on the wood, it depends on the texture, it depends on the use of the materials of what you use for your interior design, I would say. This palette brings like elegance, romanticness to it. It's very often inviting, can be timeless depending. And the textures used should be linen or like velvet or like brushed cottons. Blues in interior design is calmness, stability, and sophistication. And the blue visually recedes, so it makes the space feel much more larger, much more calmer, quieter, emotionally spacious. That's why blue works well in bedrooms, study rooms, luxury hotels, wellness spaces. Then you have light blue is emotional softness. I love this, especially when it comes to Cartier blues. No, Tiffany blues. I think is it Cartier blues or Tiffany blues? one of those light blues. I love it. It gives like openness and serenity and clarity. Then you have navy blue interiors, and it's authority and elegance. It brings like depth and sophistication and emotional restraint. And it feels expensive because the darker tone absorbs light and creates visual richness. And then you can add like gold accents to make it work, to bring some sort of like refinement, luxury to it, as well as visual contrast. Without any warmth, the blue can easily become so cold when you walk in. And then blue and brown is grounded tranquility. It brings like emotional security, nature, balance, maturity. You kind of feel safe in this environment when you use the decor of blue and brown. And then you have the yellows in interior design. I feel like with yellows were so popular back in the 50s when it comes to the interior designs, that every time, it depends on the color, the usage of the color yellow can give you like 50s throwback. One thing I would say is that it brings cheerfulness, welcoming, uplifting, energetic vibe to your house. And the saturation matters a lot when it comes to yellow. It matters so much when it comes to yellow. Then you have the butter yellow, the quiet warmth. It depends on how you use the yellows and the eggs and the accent colors, as well as other colors contributing to it. It brings comforting, gentle elegance vibe. And yeah, it's calming. And then you have mustard golden yellow. I feel like a lot of Always Essex people love to use this because it's leaning towards gold colors, and it can be quite like, in a way, tacky sometimes. Well, this color works well with like dark greens, burgundy, brass, metals. And when it comes to like primary colors and interior design, it's very playful, it's artistic, it's energetic, it's modern. Is Bauhaus, is Memphis design inspired. A lot of these designs tend to use it. And is modern art, and yeah, very playful. Some of it can look cheap again because of the excessive saturation, poor lighting, too many competing colors, glossy synthetic materials, no tonal hierarchy. And why it can feel luxury is the palette restraint, the tonal layering, the lighting warmth, the texture variety, and the spatula balance. And so that is it for interior design. And then when it comes to design like graphics design, or any design form like graphics design, I would say, it communicates, the primary colors communicates attention, perception, trust, and memories. And then you have it in red when it comes to design, urgency, power, appetite, activations. You see this when it comes to like call to action buttons a lot. You see this when it comes to sales, the big red thing blurring in your face saying if you don't buy, the 50% off is gone. The alert you see in food brands, especially in fast food brands, McDonald's for example, sporting brands, and luxury campaigns. Emotionally is stimulating, is exciting, is movement, is hunger, its intensity. Minimal red looks luxurious with use of negative spaces, restrained typography, the depth, the matte textures, the limited focal points. Small amount of red within balanced composition feels very deliberate, very refined and expensive. So you have to be very careful with the reds and how you're injecting reds in your wardrobe. And then you have red and black in design. Is dominance and sophistication, is bold, is cinematic, is masculine, is powerful, is editorial. Without the black, the red can feel immature and visually loud. Luxury brands love to use this. Sportswears love to use these. High fashion brand campaigns and automotive designs love to use this. Blue in design is trust, intelligence, and stability. Is safety, professionalism, calmness, reliability, logic. Blue dominates tech. A lot of tech designs use this. Light versus blue. Light blue is open, modern, soft, innovative. Dark blue navy is authoritative, established, prestigious, intelligent. Yellow in design is optimism, friendliness, warmth, creativity. But yellow is difficult to control. Too much bright yellows causes visual fatigue. And soft yellows feels expensive, is artistic, is modern, it's elegant, is calming. Luxury design often desaturates yellow because it's softer, feels mature, refined, timeless. And then primary colors used together is visually stimulating. Bauhaus use this, Swiss designs use this, modern art movement use this. Why it feels cheap: uncontrolled saturation, too many competing colors, inconsistent typography, poor spacing, weak hierarchy, excessive visual noise. Why it feels calm, restrained, spacing, hierarchy, opposite of what makes it feels cheap. And then psychological side of negative spaces is clarity when you use it with design. It's elegance, is sophistication, is focus. Crowded design feels emotionally anxious, and spacious design feels emotionally confident. Luxury brands use this a lot. And so this is me. Thank you so much for watching. If you truly enjoyed this video, please do not forget to like, share, comment or subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. And hopefully this video is not doing like dancing like the first one when I was introducing this series onto the channel. So thank you so much for watching.